everyone, welcome back to another Age of Empires 4 commentary. I am Beyond, and as always, thank you so much for supporting the past couple videos and the channel as a whole. I truly do appreciate it. Let's get right into this game. Today we have Wham playing in the green as the French, and across the way we have sort of in the purple playing as the Malians. Both of these players are great streamers, and I believe Wham also has an awesome YouTube channel with a bunch of guides on it. We'll leave their links in the description below, and you should absolutely go check both of them out. Now, this is in the Call to Arms tournament group stages, so that is why the little logo is there, and I will also leave EGC TV's link in the description below. You can go check out the full tournament. I believe they have streams every Saturday and Sunday until the end of the tournament, and it's been an absolute banger of a few games, and I'm sure this one will not disappoint. Now, in this matchup, the French sit at a currently 37.7% win rate across 324 games in Conquer and above, and across every single rank, French sit at about a 45% win rate against the Malians at about 6.2 thousand games. So Wham is at a slight disadvantage by the statistics and the numbers, but Wham is also an incredibly good player, so I would not be surprised if they overcome this. And remember, this is in a professional tournament, which means these players have done this kind of matchup a whole bunch, is specifically on this map. And that is the most important thing. Pros, the civilization on maps are super important. Now, as you can see, sort of's base is pretty wide open. There's not really many ways to wall off, so the Malians will be very susceptible to a lot of early pressure. And you can see, yes, they do have an early large pit mine. These berries are getting in the way though, which is super annoying. I believe these two little bushes right over here are going to cause a lot of annoyances because you can't do the full surround on those houses until you get those out of the way. And with this early pressure not being able to wall off, yes, you're going to be seeing some Donzos out of sort of quite early, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a barracks drop down quite soon, but we're not collecting wood just yet, so it's going to be a little bit longer. Sorry, I can move this back. But you're going to be seeing those because you're going to be seeing some French knights that can definitely harass this early pit mine. Now, across the way, we can check out Wham's base. An absolute metric ton of sheep. What a flock that Wham has going. They look absolutely dashing in the all greens, looking great as always. Now, if you've made it this far and you've made it through my bunch of comments about sheeps, if you are enjoying the content, please do drop a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. We are so close to 1,000, only 73 more, and we finally hit it, and we will become officially a YouTube partner. Is there more sheep? Oh my God, look at this. You could become a farmer. This is absolute. I think this is the thumbnail right here. This beautiful thing right here. Let me just make sure it's right in the middle. Boom. There it is. The tale of 1,000 sheep. Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to write that down actually right now. I just hit my monitor. Oh no. Hold up. All right. Well, luckily nothing's happening right now. So hold on. Let me just get this down. That was a good idea. I know I could pause the video, but this is more fun this way. No. Tale of 1,000 sheep. There we go. That's why you come here, everyone. That's why you subscribe. It's for the professionalism, of course. That's what we always like to do here. We're having fun. I thought, you know, what does this need more today? And I'm also pre-recording a bunch of these in advance because I'm going to be going on vacation, so we can see the scouts are getting a little bit of harass here. That's why Wham got so many sheep. Decided to go with that 2-scout opener on this map, which is probably because there's so many sheep. We do not see nearly as many sheep from our Malian friend. A very sad amount, if you will. And there's a barrack, so we're starting to get there. We're starting to cruise, and that is the Donzos. Of course, Donzos are one of the most effective at that because they can not only do they protect their spears into knights, which protect very well into charging knights, they also have the poke damage where they throw that javelin / spear at the beginning of the interaction, which can be force chivalry kind of takes into play. It can be very annoying, very frustrating, and can do a lot of damage, especially to the scouts and the knights themselves. Now across the way we can see that Wham is going for that stone pretty early on, which is indicative of a traditional French build. The French are traditionally going these days 2 TCs into kind of that feudal age, early castle age aggression with quite a large knight and archer army. And that's going to do very well into the Malians because they're going to be responding with donzos and javelin throwers. Javelin throwers are not the best, they're not the worst, but their response will be, if you can take out all those donzos, the knights will absolutely wreak havoc on the javelin throwers. Javelin throwers are, of course, have an incredible amount of army, so it's going to be one of those, incredible amount of armor, so against range units, so they won't be able to be taken down by those early archers, but they will be able to absolutely cook in the sense when it comes to actually taking down the knights. And there we go. We can see they're coming out. There's a donzo, so they're going to be chasing them all around. Wham's doing a great job just causing even more idle time. N is able to sneak out through the bushes, just barely gets through there, and now going to be moving out on the map. You're not going to be chasing down that knight, and we can see only one knight coming out. We're seeing this a lot more, and it's becoming pretty standard in this kind of matchup. As you can see, Wham has collected the necessary requirements for that second TC, and there he goes, dropping it around the 6-minute mark on that forward gold, and does get a boar. As we've talked about multiple times on this channel, the French do struggle with food early on. They are one of the civilizations that, kind of like China and the Abbasid, they're very dependent on what food is around them, and if you can keep them in their base and off the food outside of their base, you will be sitting at a very good spot. So most of the time, compared to a lot of other ones like English, stuff like that, is very, very important for the French to expand near another food source, which is what Wham is doing over here. We can also see he's expanding to his backberries as well. And he has so many sheep. This is going to be absolutely huge for him. He's going to have to start a farm transition or go out and get risky food anytime soon, which is why that double scout really, really did pay off. Now, checking out Sort of's base over here, we can see the pit mines going up. We see a healthy spot of donzos. We're going to be seeing the cow boom. So, it's pretty standard. As with cow boom, you go up. You get all your cows into business. You start doing as much of gold farming as you possibly can, and getting enough to produce a cow every time it's in the queue. You fill up your pastures, which gets you passive food, and then on top of that, once you are ready, you sit in the feudal age a little bit longer than normal, and then all of a sudden, you kind of boom. You put it down, you drop it down with like 30 villagers, 20 villagers, as many as they can possibly do, and the second that Grand Corral goes down, your food output goes through the roof, and you can start creating and just printing donzos and archers, which is exactly what the Malians want to do, especially and also printing sofas. Not the furniture, the horse, but there are a lot of jokes in there that can be made for sure. Now, this is the second pit mine that Sort of's going to be going for. Instead of opting for this one that's a little bit farther away back here, it is a little bit closer to the French player, but going a little bit more aggressive because he does have 8 donzos on the map, so feels pretty good about being able to take this, and Wham only has 1 knight. That will be changing quite soon, and when the archers get here, they will need to have a lot more... They will need to be a lot more numbers before pulling out, because those donzos do have that ability to throw those spears. So they will be able to cook a few archers if they're just sitting around like that. Wham's getting all those eco upgrades, which is what you love to see. Do they have wheelbarrow yet? They do, which is perfect. We do not have wheelbarrow on the side of... We don't have wheelbarrow on the side of Sort of, but that is because they are spending all of their money on those cows. They cost about 90 gold each, but as you can see, they're absolutely producing 100 food per pasture, and then it gets an absolute insane amount once that Grand Corral gets dropped in the middle of them all. So if you see this, if you scout this in your lower levels, remember, this is what's going to be coming at you. It's going to be the cow boom, and you're going to be seeing a castle age timing attack, which drops around that like 16-ish minute mark. We'll see how close I get to that. Maybe even a little bit sooner, but we'll have to wait and see. And remember, these are all timings that happen at the pro level. So if you're a little bit lower, like myself, in that platinum and below, you'll be seeing that at it could be anywhere up until that 20-minute mark. 1 villager will be going down though, so some nice value for these knights. Waiting on chivalry though, because this knight is definitely not doing super well. The sofas are out, the furniture is out in the field, and they do not have any of their classic armor just yet. But they do see how low this knight is, so they're trying to trade out as quickly as possible. Wham is smartly running this all the way back, and that's a warrior scout as well. Yes, dropping off those deer over there, and there's some knights to reinforce. They're going to get a nice broadside charge. Nope, Sort of is up to the task of that micro and pulls back almost immediately. With more and more knights coming onto the field, we can imagine that we're going to be seeing that kind of 2 TC kind of Castle Age timing for Wham / late Feudal Age. So it is going to come a little bit before Castle Age. As you can see, the army is starting to ramp up significantly, and Wham's going to be able to move out and really pressure this forward pit mine over here. He could go into the base itself. We got some crazy wood mining going on. We're going to have to switch this up very, very soon. As you can see, there's so many few wood lines around here, which makes it super, super tough for civilizations kind of like the Rus and for the English that really would love to see a lot more wood lines. So that's why you don't see those kind of picked on this kind of map. And now we do have the knights coming in. They did sneak in the backhand side, but they're going to be quickly thwarted because look at how much damage that little group of 9 does. That is a ton of damage, almost half of the health gone. And we don't have chivalry just yet, do we? We do not. So that has not been invested in yet, so that knight will not be returning to full health. I wouldn't be surprised to see if that knight over here just hanging out. There it is. Just waiting. It's waiting. That's always very, very good. And we have a lot of archers that are going to be protective of the second TC. Now we have, let's see, we have some more knight raids going in over here. If Wham was able to pick off that cow, which he wasn't able to, that was absolutely huge. One way to get Cow Boom off its rocker, if you will, is definitely if you can manage to snipe out a few of these cows. It is absolutely brutal if that does happen. And watch, here comes Wham, but the sofas are out in the move. There's 7 of them over here, so they're going to have to move out quite quickly. There's a reaction time, and Wham is out of here. But there are now 9 knights on the field, and at this level, you can see they're going to be coming in at all sorts of ranges. Probably going to be getting 1 kill over here. Let's see if we can get it. Charge through those houses. Here we go. The charge is in. Boom, boom. He's going to cleave 2 down. Traps 1 more, and then they're going to get out of there quite quickly. So if you are a French player, you don't have the APM to go the multiple raids. That's totally understandable. But you can always just split your knights into 2 groupings up top. And look at those Dons. Absolutely ripping through that knight over there. And now we have another raid over here. Wham's taking out 5 villagers. But what I was saying is you can essentially split them up into 2 just hotkeys up top. So not really like 2 different raids. Just send them on 2 different sides of the base. And then just do 1 raid at a time. You don't necessarily have to go in and try to control and do like TC dives like they're doing at this point. Just send them in 1 at a time. And there is the Castle Age. So we see some aggression. Wham gets what he wants, knows that he's in a very good position, especially with the villager lead. Of course, the Malians get tons and tons of passive income from those pit mines and from that Grand Corral, so they're not super, super worried about the villager lead. But Wham knows, let's just take this to Castle Age, get my upgrades for my knights and my archers, and then we'll move on from there. But as to finish off that last point, just do... Because remember, all the things that you're thinking about, like, oh, I can't be doing that, it's like a ton of APM. Remember, the defender's thinking the exact same thing, right? They have even less APM. You can throw them off of their build order, their game, if you just send in knights at different places, and it doesn't have to take into account more APM on your part. Send them in, send the one group back out, leave the other group like way back here, and then do that all over again. It'll drive them in crazy, it'll keep your APM at a normal level, and it'll allow you to focus in and get a lot of good value out of those knights. Because if you don't get good value out of those knights, it's definitely really rough for the French. I've played many of French matchups, and if that French player does not get what they want early on, it can be very, very brutal, especially if they invest heavily into it. And now the sofas are just diving, and that is a lot of villagers that are going to be in the crosshairs. One is going to be going down. No, that does not go down. It spreads all the wealth. Those javelin throwers, unfortunately, did not get a good shot going in, and sort of now has quite a large army. 50 to 46 is the current moment, and we see that Wham is now putting down another outpost because he wants more of this gold. He does have a bunch of safe gold back here, which he's actually about to be expanding to right now. Has 1 relic in his base, 1 over here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some relics being picked up by Wham, knowing that he has full control over the map and sort of is not Castle Age just yet. There is the Grand Corral going down in the middle of all this wonderful pastures, and you'll get to wait and see how much this is going to boom upwards once that gets into place. Now, with Chivalry, all these knights are going to start to heal. We have 11 on the map, and we have Royal Bloodlines coming in, which makes these guys the beefiest, and as I always say, pound for pound, the best unit in the game for sure. Now, these are Castle Age archers and knights. They will be Castle Age archers very soon. These knights are going to want to have to move out over there. There we go. Nice and easy. But if Wham can actually, if he sees this, he's going to snipe a few. There we go. He's turning. He's going to broadside like 8 villagers. Oh, ooh. So, you know what? This does do? He doesn't lose any knights, but he just delays it by another 10, 15 seconds. And that's okay. That's like perfect. And he sees that the Donzos are a little bit far behind, so he's going to trade onto these sofas over here, knowing that he can get his health back up. These sofas cannot. So Wham is doing a lot of good small micro trades. As a French player, you don't have to do this perfectly, but Wham is in his element right now and is absolutely cruising, showing why he is someone to be feared on this French. Utilizing this night ball over here, constantly moving in and out, causing so much damage. And with this many knights, you can start to look to snipe entire pastures. Like, if he wanted to, he could probably start to pick off this far one over here and cause so much annoyance. And at the same time, with these knights constantly moving around, this army is constantly on the move, because these sofas cannot be left alone with just the knights. See right here? They got left alone. That's absolutely devastating. The Donzos have to be there, or else that is going to be, they're going to lose their whole army, which is not what you want at all. And now Wham's going to get out safe and sound. Didn't even lose a knight. Now his archers are moving in over here. But these Donzos have to be by the sofas. If they don't, as you can see, the knights immediately turn around almost instantly. A few are going to be going down, but they turn around, quickly clash. Wham gets a bunch of different kills and then moves all the way back the second they come into play. And this Donzo count has been gone from like the mid-20s and now is shaved down to 17. And there's been nothing killed on Wham's side. Wham is currently sitting at 160 out of 200, which is absolutely insane. And I did get a comment that I said absolutely a lot. I saw you. I saw the comment. I can't actually comment on it for some reason. YouTube isn't letting me. But I've noticed it, and I can absolutely get better at that. And if I left a comment like that, I would leave a little winky emoji there. I hear you though. I can definitely make sure that I use a new adjective for that, or at least try to. I can't make any guaranteed promises, but if you're listening, I appreciate you. You've been here from the beginning. And I'm always happy to take any sort of suggestions that you guys have. I also have a Discord in my link below that you can also leave suggestions of what kind of content you'd like to see, those types of things, if that is what interests you. We can see that Wham is picking up the relics as we go, up to 2 already, is picking up another one in tow, so he's going to have 3-2 lead no matter what happens. And he's sniping out imams left and right. This is a large archer mass. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some siege coming out as well. That would probably make the big change. There is the poison arrows, which are going to make these archers really, really good. And there is the relic. Look at that, man. Holding it like a Super Bowl trophy. Just passing by the knights, be like, no worries, guys. I got this. Don't worry. Passive gold for days coming in. Not a big deal at all. We see a few horsemen actually over here. And a few knights. And this is what I mean. Just leave the knights over here. There's nothing that you have to do, and now the sofas are coming in. I'm just checking out, seeing what's going on. And these knights are going to trade out pretty well into the sofa, even though there's so many of them. Look at how well they trade out into this. This is crazy. They're trading really, really well. The Donzos did find their mark over here. We have another knight pairing over here. Wham's just doing small little raids to keep sort of APM away from him. Wham's also sitting at 105 villagers. This is what happens when you leave someone with 2 TCs completely alone. There's been no raids, been no nothing on the side of sort of. It's been Wham the entire time on the aggression and on the pressure, and that's what's causing a lot of damage. The sacred site is going to be, this poor monk is going to be absolutely slaughtered, and there they go. Boom. Overkill with poison as well, so we'll not be capturing that sacred site just yet, but now Sorv is now moving out with his large army. It's 86 to 74, but if, as you can see, Wham has a lot in the bank. If Wham's able to trade out somewhat evenly into this next trade for this next large engagement, he's going to be sitting at a very, very comfortable way to kind of essentially re-max out his army. The same cannot be said for sort of, we do see the red pals coming in, just kind of hanging out over here, probably going to be securing this other gold over here. But Wham's going to be doing that, and remember, the red keep also puts arbitrary emplacements on all of these TCs. They turn into mini keeps and keeps over here as well. So it's going to be brutal. It puts them everywhere, which is insane. We did have a slight engagement in the middle, but not something that Wham's looking to take on too much right now. And now they're going to be taking it on in the back end behind with the help of this tower and this TC. It's a shame. If this was done right here, this fight would look entirely different. And they're also fighting under a keep as well. Once this pops, just watch how much damage these things start to do in comparison. And it's so close. Wham knows this is why he's kiting so far back. He knows that once he's get up, and there they go. Look at how fast they're firing now. It's an absolute blender in here. Sort of is fighting in between so many arb emplacements. It's absolutely insane. The Blender 9000. Look at this archer numbers. They're just cooking all the way down. A little bit of a wall going down there, but it doesn't even matter. And Wham's just constantly kiting back. It's all good. If he loses a few villagers, no problem at all. These archers are trading in so well into these donzos. And this keep is absolutely cooking back here. Taking out all this archer mass. It's down to a measly little 8 at this point. And now these archers can kind of start to trade in on these sofas. The knights are going to kind of move over here. And Wham still has 16 knights. After all is said and done, he's still trying to run away from these donzos. Now has enough to just turn and burn backwards. Yes, sort of did kill off 30 villagers in that exchange, but Wham is still up by 30 and is Imperial Age. Getting that knight upgrade now, and now you're going to be seeing sort of sofas going hand in hand with Imperial Age knights. That is going to be something that is going to be really rough to kind of make it happen. And we can see, oh, it's just a scout. A scout just causing some mayhem on the back end side. Look at that passive food over here for the cow boom, which sort of did his job. He did a lot of damage in that front, but he needed to do it a little bit sooner, and I think a little bit more damage at that front. Wham is now very comfortable, and once this Imperial Age upgrades come in, going to be feeling even better with this army over here. There they go, the golden upgrades. Look at those legends, little notch in the shield as well to hold that lance. Gotta love the details of Age of Empires. No one ever said it isn't beautiful. Now, remember, the French get a upgrade to the influence cost decrease when you surround a keep. That's why the French always build keeps, and that's why they're always in their base. It's because they had that kind of upgrade for that infrastructure. We do have a lot of arbs coming in as well for Wham, sitting at 6 right now, but 4 more on the way. And honestly, at this point, these TCs just do so well. And there we go. They're kind of moving out now. These knights are feeling very comfortable. The Donzo numbers are not nearly high enough. There's only 3 on the map. So these Imperial Age knights can tank this for absolute days. There's only 10 left on the map, though, at the current moment, because this is a large Malian force. But Wham is very comfortable fighting between all of these different kind of outposts. We have the keep here. We have the outpost over here. We have TCs firing everywhere. And these sofas, while they do have a lot of armor, it's not nearly enough to kind of deal with all of this peppering fire. Look at this keep just absolutely sending it into the here. And look at all the dead Malian bodies on the ground. And there they go. They're going to be pushed back yet again. And Wham is still in Imperial Age. And that is the Arb upgrade. They have the golden hats now. So everyone is feeling good, feeling great. We have the Tiths coming in. There they go. Tith Barns that make those relics even more valuable, and Wham has 4 of them. So going to be very comfortable to kind of move up into the next age. And while the army numbers are about the same, remember, Wham is sitting at an entire age ahead, plus 4 relics, plus getting these eco upgrades now as well. If you can help it, do not fight under a keep, especially after a red keep goes down, because it gives everything Arban placements on all keeps in town centers. And on top of that, Wham also threw an outpost with all the upgrades as well in here. So they were fighting in between 2 TCs, a keep, an outpost with springhold emplacements. It was going to be always really tough to do, and Wham just knows that the longer this goes on, the better spot that he's going to be in. As you can see, Sora's resources right now are still pretty low in comparison to Wham's, who are just kind of free-flowing. He even has more income per minute of food than the cow boom itself, which is absolutely nuts. And here we go. Another keep is going to be going down. We do see the Rams coming out, which will make it... nope, the keep is not going to be able to finish. They see the Rams. Wham knows that he does not have enough just yet to actually finish this off. And the Rams are going to be moving in, which is a nice call. Rams are one of the strongest units late game. They can really break a tie. And, of course, if you do get siege against all these French Knights, it could be ending very, very poorly. Again, Wham is retreating all the way backwards into all of his defenses, and now he's trading into that range mass right now, and more knights are moving out, and 9 are on the way. So Wham is finally replenishing those knight numbers, and once those come out, I think he's going to be sitting in a very, very good spot, but sort of is starting to get the upper hand in this fight over here. But once he gets into the range of this keep, these sofas will be going down quite quickly, and the Rams have only just taken out this one outpost over here, but there's some villagers actually repairing it on the back end side, so keeping out a little bit longer, and sort of calls the GGs, knowing full well that was his timing, that was his third try at breaking through that front door, and Wham was not having any of it. GGs, well played to both players. Thank you guys so much. If you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe. As I mentioned, we are so close to 1,000. I appreciate you all. Have a great night.